Today, I'll be covering the top 30 Junkwax era card sales on eBay for the month of April 2024. You're going to see a lot of 1993 finest refractors, a few desert shields, and some PSA 10 1987 Fleer basketball cards. Prices on this list are going to range from at the bottom of around $2,500 all the way through 20 grand. All right, let's start the list. Starting off this week is a desert shield of Frank Thomas. Actually, there's a few desert shields on this list. So I'm not going to repeat my notes for all of them. But regardless, with these desert shields, I should always give you guys a little bit of a heads up with them. A few things. Number one, they are, I wouldn't say extremely rare, but they're rare, especially in the context of the Junkwax era. There's a lot of collectors for these. The best card in the set is going to be your Chipper Jones rookie card with the stamp. But these are highly counterfeited. So there's actually some of these cards that are fake in slabs. So make sure to do your due diligence. Ask for close-up pictures of this before you purchase a card. This is just so far away. I can't tell. But there's a lot of documentation online whether these are real or fake. So even if a card is slabbed, do your research. If you don't think it's real, walk away. But that is the Frank Thomas. Well, obviously one of his best cards as well, very early on within his career. And let's move on to the next card. This one sold for $24.50. $27.99 for this 1993 Cal Ripken refractor. These finest refractors are so expensive because these are the first refractors in the hobby. And if you think about how popular refractors are today, this birthed it all. So it's a very iconic set for a lot of people, and especially those that go after 90s inserts or 90s cards, different things like that. But very old PSA cert, starts with a 0 over there. There are scratches. I can't tell if it's on the slab or if it's on the card. Like you can see scratches right there, which it looks like it's the slab, right? It goes through. But there's other things right there. Just, it's tough to tell, especially with this angle on the card. Another desert shield, Barry Bonds. Debatable if you want to call him the home run king or not. But there are a lot of player collectors for Barry Bonds. And 28.20 for this PSA 10. Again, from the Desert Shield. $28.50. We have a Gem Mint 10 Griffey, but the auto has an authentic grade. It's pretty streaky auto, which is a shame because the card graded so high. You can see like right here, this would be dinged. Now, where it'd be dinged to, I don't know. I'm not an auto expert by any means like that. I would think probably an 8. It looks like you can see a lot of streakiness, and it's kind of a hard signature to read. But still have that PSE 10 for the normal card, and sold for $2,850 from 4 sharp corners. $3,000 for this 1987 Topps box bottoms PSA 9, which is a really great grade on these. This was sold by 87 OPG. It says it's a pop one, none higher. So this is going straight into a Jerry Rice collector's. I'm curious if all of these cards have this defect or if this is a print dot. Again, I can't tell from here. But these are going to be hand cut, I believe, because it is a box bottom. And unless you kept the box in pristine shape, it's going to be tough to get a very high grade on these. I want to say in the hockey side of things, there's a Mario Lemieux that's like this. That's super expensive too. I can't remember, but take a look at the back on this too. Our first Jordan card on the list. Jordan always floods these, but $3,000 for 1993 Fleer Living Legends Gem Mint 10. Again, kind of a weird angle for a card. I assume these are pretty tough because of this darker border over here, and you can see a little bit of chipping, but I assume that there's going to be a ton on some of these cards. But either way, $3,000 for the MJ. Full transparency, I don't know if this card actually sold or not. Originally it did, but then doing a little bit more research, it might have gotten pulled. But $3,500 for this 1989 Wisconsin Dairy Council in a BGS 8.5. It says very rare. I'm not too familiar with it, so even if this technically did get pulled, let me know a little bit more about this card, because again, I'm not familiar with it. $4,000, 1988 OPG Brett Hull, right in the dot, sold by Probstein. 1, 2, 3. And the card is diagonal on that slab, which is killing me. It's killing me. But take a look at it. I mean, it looks fairly clean, and these are always going to have a little bit of rough edges, but nice spread hole. $4,010. Ivan Pudge Rodriguez, a PSA 9 of this 1993 finest. That centering kills me, though. That centering will not get a 9 today. My assumption, of course. I'm not a professional grader, but it looks like there's a dimple also in the top right. But I assume the rest of the surface is clean on this card. Probably a 7 or 8 today, Sinton. $4,049. Kentucky Consignments. Ken Griffey Jr. and a PSA 8. These 93 finest have dominated the list this week. Even the non-refractor version of this is extremely popular. I've sold, and I wouldn't say a lot of these, but I've sold a few of them on ComC before. 4050 1988 Fleer Michael Jordan All-Stars number 120. Again, prone to a lot of chipping and condition issues with these. You can even see that right over here on the bottom. New cert too, which probably adds a little bit to the value. 4160 Joe Barry. No idea who this is. Again, with some of these basketball cards that sell for a crazy amount of money in the 80s, I assume that this is going to go to a registry of some sort, and that there's not a lot of these PSA 10s. 42.23 and 99 cents. 1990 Bowman Tiffany Ken Griffey Jr. 9.5. Super blurry picture. Super blurry. I mean, you can load it up, you can't really tell the condition. But yep, I'll let you guys do your judgment on that one because I can't tell. This is just too blurry for me. 43.87 Michael Cooper. Again, another I'd assume common. I'm not a basketball expert by any means, but another PSA 10. 44.50 by Probstein, Michael Jordan Beam Team, card number 1, PSA 10. The other Beam Team card that's popular in the set is the Shaq, which I believe is a rookie. And I've said this so many times in this video, but condition sensitive. So with a lot of your Junkwax era cards are. Beam Teams are a little bit rare, but getting these in good shape is tough. And that's why there's a premium on some of the higher grades, especially the 10s. Although I think at 9/10 sometimes it's more label collecting rather than anything else. All right, slightly different card here. We have the 1992 Beam Team, but this is the members only version. I did a little bit of research before recording this section, and I believe someone said that there's a stamp and that these were given, like, these are a little bit rarer than the normal Beam Teams, but they were put in binders, so maybe you have some higher grades. I'm not too sure where the stamp is also. To label it members only, maybe it's somewhere on the front. Slight premium in comparison. This one sold for $5,351. And let me know where you see that stamp because I am missing it. All right, $5,500 for this Troy Aikman 1989 dual 10s. Does Aikman not sign his 89 tops that often? It seems like a pretty hefty premium on it. It does say low pop. I mean, I don't know. Something to learn a little bit more about is it seems like a very odd sale. I would not expect that much. $5,700, probably the most classic card in the 1990s. The Frank Thomas No Name on front. And you can see there's no black border that goes around over here. That got cut off, and no name. Ton of these fakes out there, so do your due diligence on those. This one is not a fake, just by looking at what was printed and the quality of the card. 5750 1993 SP Derek Jeter foil, and I'm kind of shocked this got a 9 with that over there. They're very strict on this card, especially the surface on here. It's kind of one of those good luck getting a very high grade on these. This part's clean, which I've owned a lot of these cards. Not a lot, but maybe like 10 or so over time. And this gets chipped really badly. So that's probably part of the reason why it got 9. But I'm kind of shocked that this ding corner over here didn't knock it down more with how strict they are with it. $5,999. 1989 Fleer sticker Jordan number 3. Back over here, which it's way off centered, and can't tell if that's a ding corner or not. $6,300. This is a 87-88 Fleer Michael Jordan with an autograph. Not all GAI are bad. Some of you guys may not be familiar with that brand, but it used to be one of the head PSA graders that started it. It ran out of business. There's 2 different sort of labels. From what I've heard from dealers, silver, like this, is the better ones to go after, whereas I want to say the white labels that are later on don't go after those. So I don't know about, like, this is definitely a risky card to buy. I'd still say that in some respect. I don't know how good GAI autographs are, and that'd be something. I mean, if you're buying this card, you do a little bit more research. I also don't know how much the PSA versions of these go for, but I guess just let me know down below and what you think of this Michael Jordan auto. I'm still gonna put this in the list just because I know GAI in the past used to be a respective grader. I just don't know about the autographs. $6,500, 1989 Bowman Tiffany 910. We actually, I believe, had the 1010 that sold for about $40,000. Maybe that was like a super low pop, but still, really nice card over here of Ken Griffey Jr. $69.50, 1993 Ultra Michael Jordan Power in the Key PSA 10. This looks like a foil card, and it is. So always foil cards are gonna be pretty condition sensitive with scratches and things like that. Full color border here on the back. You can even see some chipping and stuff like that, which is probably allowed on this type of card. Although there's a lot down here in that bottom left corner. $69.53. A pristine, oh, not pristine. Is it? Well, yeah, BGS10 is a pristine. I don't buy a lot of BGS slabs, so apologize. But 310s and 195, so a half grade away from a black label. I'm curious that half grade, how much it would increase the price on this Ken Griffey, or if there's even any black labels that exist. $69.53, really high price. $7,500 for this Desert Shield Kirby Puckett. I'm not sure why Kirby sold for so much, if this is out of the norm, or maybe like this is super low pop on this one over here. Doesn't tell me in the description. I mean, it's sold for a lot more than Bonds and also Frank Thomas, which typically outsell Kirby Puckett. So unless it's like a very, very low pop for the only one, kind of a surprising sale to me. $8,600. I'm not sure why they labeled this as trading card. Huge mistake from the seller. So the auto grade was 8.5. What I believe they do is they average the 2 autographs. So one was probably an 8 auto, one was a 9. I would assume that the Griffey was the 8. You can see some streakiness over here. The Mantle was the 9. Also, you have to be careful, and I've talked about it in a video before. Aftermarket autographs of Griffey, he would sign stuff that was already signed by Mantle. I don't know how to tell. I mean, I'm sure there's differences that people that really know this card would, but huge mistake not labeling this card over here. Just for a few more dollars for almost a $10,000 card. I have no idea who this is. $12,322. Congrats to someone getting on this on their registry. I would think of a lot of better ways to spend 12 grand than a Sydney Green 87 Fleer and a 10. But that's the game of upgrading cards on your PSA registry. I do understand if you want to sell your set and you have like a full PSA 10 set and this is the last one or one of the last ones, it probably increases the value. But at least how I collect, I'm not going to chase those labels. And our biggest sale this week, $21,000 Ken Griffey Jr. 10. I said Chipper Jones was probably the biggest earlier in this video. Maybe this Griffey outsells that one. Huge sale at 21,000. I don't know how much a premium it is on the last one. Looks like there's some sort of mark on that. Can't 100% tell. Obviously, PSA's lenient on the backs, but wow, 21 grand for this Griffey collectors. And the set collectors for the Desert Shields are very strong. So let's start taking a look at our honorable mentions. Up first, we have the Spanish sticker. It says it's hand cut of Michael Jordan, PSA 5. Asking price was $5,000, but this sold for $700. Newer seller with 17 feedback. And again, something I'm not too familiar with, but it seems like a pretty big sale for this card. 24.53 Topps Micro, Derek Jeter in a PSA 10. I see a lot of these that are like centered horribly and very condition sensitive. I want to say there's a YouTuber that actually opened a few boxes hunting the Jeter. I want to say I can't remember, but super small card. And that centering on the back is atrocious, though. I am gonna say that. $21.99, a factory box if you want to go chase a Jeter. There's a few other big names in here as well. $1,000, 1992 Shaq Gold in a PSA 10. I love how they say pop 781. That is a lot of 10s for that gold. $21.50, the Stanley Cup hologram. One of the more important hologram cards out there. They also have one of a rock guitar, but it's a lot cheaper than the Stanley Cup, which is probably considered one of the most iconic hockey cards in the 1990s. $1,900, Mark McGwire refractor in the PSA 10, 500 home run club. Decent amount of collector still for Mark McGwire, although he got implicated using steroids. $2,200, 1986 Tiffany Bo Jackson, second best Tiffany in that set behind the Barry Bonds. Lastly, $2,000, 1990 Flair Ken Griffey Soaring Stars, number 6. Originally was $3,000 and down to 2. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Make sure to subscribe to the channel. A lot more top 30 videos, not just on the Junkwax era, but you can check out some of the other sports, vintage, and versus newer. Next month, I'm going to try to do 2 of these videos every single week. So scaling out the series, but doing different subjects. All right, see you guys in another video.